Hi everyone. Today is Thursday, July 12th, and it's 11:30, and I'm ready to go down and do some staining and varnishing in the basement, so the boys are going to do some taping this morning and let you know what's been going on around here. So I'm going to turn it right over to them because we want to finish this up today so we can get it in the mail to you. Bye for now.
Hi, Grandpa and Grandma and Pat. Have you been playing any cards, Grandpa? Have you been golfing? Well, when are you going down to Jim's? I hope it's pretty soon. Then you can start catching those fish. Well, Taffy's growing, and guess what? One day she found a rabbit and just got caught it. Billy was here, and I sure liked Taffy. He stayed on for 2 days for the jip. I just hurry up and come back. Because Phil's birthday is next week. And we hope that we can go fishing with you. Well, seems that we have baseball, and I play shortstop. Bradley Hines, he plays second base. Jeff Custer, he plays first. Phil, he plays catcher, but not anymore because he had a broken finger. And Jeff Hines, he hits on to us. And Jimmy Custer, sometimes he plays third base. We have outfields. Sometimes Hayes, sometimes Tom and Jimmy. Well, I better let Phil talk. I don't have very much to say. I better Phil talk. Bye. Hurry on back. I'm going to write a letter to you. That was a nice card you gave to us. Well, hi everybody. It's 11:45 now, and I went up and got the mail, and we had a whole bunch of it. We got Coast to Coast catalog and a Sears catalog. Got a whole bunch of letters. We got your letter. We got Grandma's letter. Not Grandma Robinson, but Grandma Sagerman. And the day I broke my finger, Billy was here, and he was playing baseball. And just before we went into outpatient, they left. And so they don't know if it's broke or not. And when they got up to Grandma's, they told her she was writing a letter to us, and they told them to ask me how my finger was. And anyhow, I got a cast on my hand and around my finger, hold it in place. The doctor had to pull on it and then push over to one side and then let it snap back into place. And it was a pretty bad break, but not too bad. I think it's going to be okay. I've been writing names all over it. Norm Custer wrote his name on it, and Danny wrote his name, and he wrote Dolphins 83, and I wrote my name on it, and I wrote Twins and Vikings and 81 and 80 and Page, Alan Page and Rod Crew and Tony Oliva, and Norm wrote his name, Norm Custer, and I wrote Gene Washington on it. So it's just around my hand, and I'm going to get it off in 3 weeks. So, that'll be good. I have to miss swimming lessons because of it, because I can't get this wet. And I can't ride my bike or the mini bike, or I can't play baseball. There isn't too much I can do. They're making Little League baseball team, and Jeff Hines is our coach, and we got pretty much equipment now. We got some bases. We got some two gunny sacks and filled them with grass and weeds and stuff for 2 bases, and we need 1 more gunny sack, and then we'll have 3 bases, and then we're going to make a plate out of wood, and then we'll have our bases. And I've got my size 30-inch bat. I've got 2 30-inch bats, a yellow one and a red one, and then Dad's 32, and we're going to use that for a warm-up bat because that's heavy and it's crooked. And Jeff Hines got a cracked size 32 from Gary, but he taped it up and it's good as new now. And he got a 27-inch bat, smallest they make for Little League. And that's a real nice bat. It's autographed by Mickey Mantle. And we got a whole bunch of balls. I've got 4 balls. Jeff Hines has 4 balls. Tom has 3 balls. And Jeff Custer has 1 ball. We all have our gloves. And so we have pretty much equipment. Jeff Custer has his size 31-inch bat. And Tom has a 39-inch bat. And that's about all. We all got our baseball caps, and we might get some batting helmets. They're kind of a plastic batting helmet, and you wear it when you bat, and then so if you hit a foul and it comes down on you, it won't hurt you. Or if you try to bunt and it kicks up and hits you in the head, it won't hurt. And that's about all I can say too. I'm really kind of handicapped about I can't do much now with my fingers on my right hand, so that makes it kind of bad. But I can put on my clothes and everything all right, and I can eat pretty good by now. And I can go outside. I can't get this dirty though. And Jeff's been riding his mini bike, and he has 350 some on his mini bike, I think. About 350 anyhow. And Danny, he has to do a lot more work than he used to because I can't do much with my bad finger. And so he has to do, like, take out the garbage and clean up around the house and clean out the garage. I clean up the house, so we got Danny's Fat Track scissor track out. We've been playing with that. And we got the battleship out, and one day Jeff Hines came over, Bradley and Jeff came over to our place, and so they could play with me. And Bradley came over so he could play with Danny, because I couldn't go outside that first day, so he came over and we had a good time. We listened to records and everything. And last night we had a picnic over to Hines's, and because of that one time when we had that weenie roast down here. And anyhow, we had baked beans and hamburger, hot dog, and potato chips. And for dessert, we had a pop bar. That's like one of those icicles. And a bar, like cookies and stuff. And then we had marshmallows. So it was pretty good. And everybody went, Custer's and Hines's and us. And my birthday's coming up, and I think I'll go swimming for my birthday, or else go out to Shakey's. I'll probably go swimming because that doesn't cost as much. And, well, it seems like there's a lot to tell, but there really isn't. I can't say too much. I guess I'll have to just shut it off for a while and think of stuff. Maybe Danny will talk more. Oh, yeah. Norm, me and Jeff and me, Jeff Hines, and Jeff Custer were over at Custer's, and Norm was, we were helping Norm mix cement. And we helped him move the cement mixer out, and then we helped him move it back, and we plugged it in for him once in a while. And so after that we went in, we had a bottle of pop, and we played a game of cards, and we played Crazy 8. And the way we marked was how many cards cards you had left in your hand. It's kind of like crap on your neighbor, but isn't that bad. And I came in second. Norm won. He had a score of about 17, and I had a score of about 29. And Jeff Hines had a score of 29. He tied with me. And Jeff Custer had a score of 34. And Jimmy had a score of about 50. About 50 in there. So we had a fun time then. And then I came home and came in the house. I put my watch in the house, and then Jeff Hines got out his mini bike and he was going to ride that some more. So I went out to the trails to watch him, and there's two big cats down there, and they've been two big bulldozers anyway. They've been pushing around, and they're going to build houses down there. And anyway, they're going to bulldoze that big hill over. And that's going to make it bad because then the motorcycles can't go up those ramps or anything. I think Danny's getting hungry because he got in the icebox and got something. But anyway, the motorcycles were still riding around there. And I don't know what the bulldozers are doing now, but they're working today too. That's about all I can tell you. I'm getting pretty thirsty. I'm going to have to go get a drink pretty soon. Well, bye. I'll let Danny talk for a while if he wants to. Or else I'll talk later. Danny's fish are growing. And it doesn't seem that much like they're growing that much to us, but they are. I fed them today, and we've been podding peas and doing beans and getting turnips. Turnips are sure good. I like them a little bit. They aren't bad. They're about like potatoes to me. I can eat them, but they aren't really so good, but I'll eat them. It's almost 12 o'clock now. It's 5 to 12. And so I guess I'll let Danny talk, or else I'll talk later. Bye. Hi. Today we put a little spider in with my fish. The fish ate it. And the silver white cloud's still there. He didn't die. The 5 little ducklings are there. The snails had babies. And I don't know very much to say. I can't help it. I can hardly say anything around this house. Well, goodbye. I'll see ya. Bye. My finger doesn't hurt any. James came last night and we watched the movies of the trip, and then we showed her the pictures and stuff. We went out to Jane's yesterday for dinner. We had fried chicken and potato chips and salad and a lot of good stuff. And then we came home and we played a round, and Hines's and Custer's and Tom are having swimming lessons over a sand pit, and Danny, he still wants to have swimming lessons over to South Sioux. He wanted to change his mind and go over the sand pit because Bradley and Jimmy are over there, but he can't now because they've always have already signed up a long time ago, so maybe he can go over there next summer with them. And Jeff Hines is in the diving class, where he dives off the diving board. And Tom says they might get to go out to the dock. So must be pretty fun over there. I can't go in the water, so I don't have to worry too much. I was going to take swimming lessons over to South Sioux. While Billy was here, we went over to South Sioux and went swimming, and Julie came with them, and so it was a lot of fun. Me and Billy, we were diving off the edge and everything, but Danny, he was a little scared, and so was Julie, and they didn't swim around or anything. All they did was mostly just walk around, and anyhow, Danny says he started to float, and he kicked his feet and everything, but he didn't go anyplace. That's about how I was the first time I floated. Mom got kind of mad at Danny because he wouldn't put his face in the water. No, that wasn't it, but they were going to go under the rope. They were in the little kids. That was only about 2 feet deep, and then they were going to go in the 4-foot water. Was about just right for me and Billy and Danny and Julie. And anyhow, they were going to go underneath a rope that divided the little kids' place into the bigger kids' place. And Mom didn't tell him that they were going to go under the rope, and Danny, I guess, he thought Mom was going to lift up the rope for him or something. But Mom just drug him underneath the water, underneath the rope. And he came up, and Mom said, I thought he was going to swallow the whole pool. And we had a lot of fun, but it was a little crowded at first. So, about camping out, we haven't slept out. We haven't slept out since that one night, and we're going to sleep out pretty soon again, I think. Not the same night Danny and Bradley do, though, because just the neatest when they sleep out. Danny, he's trying to make faces. He's got one of those big rubber bands, and he's putting around his nose and his chin, and then it'll pop off eventually, and he thinks it's funny. You can probably hear him laughing. Mom's sanding down there. I think you can probably hear that too. It's 12 o'clock on the button now, and it's about time for lunch. I'm going to tell Danny to cut it out pretty soon. Last night on the picnic, we were playing a baseball game, and Chucky came and was umpire, and he was calling the strikes and stuff, and I was umpire too. And there was a couple plays that they should have been out on, and Jeff and Danny were standing, Jeff Custer and Jimmy and Bradley, and they were winning right then, and Chuck got the other side winning and got a couple plays on for them guys, and so they were playing, and then Danny and Jeff got out, and Danny, he was striking out pretty much, but otherwise sometimes he was hitting them, but they wouldn't go too far. They'd go about a couple of feet, and then Jeff he'd have to run all the way home, usually from second base, and he wouldn't make it, and all they'd have to do was touch home plate, and that'd be a force out, and then Danny would be on first. And Jeff hit a home run once, and got him and Danny home, and they won. Him and Jeff won 7-5. And then Chuck was hitting some to Jeff and Jeff Custer, and they were clear down there by the ditch, and Chucky was using that little 27 bat, the smallest one they make for Little League, and he was taking that bat and just really whacking that ball, and anyhow, he was putting it right close to the ditch every time, and he said, watch me put this one in the ditch, and he put it right in the middle of the ditch, and then he was going to do it again, because Jackie was guarding the ditch pretty well then. Any grounder didn't get past him, or any pop fly then, because he didn't want to go down the ditch, because he'd have to go get it, and he says, watch me put this one in the ditch, and he really hit it hard, and he hit it too hard, and it goes clear across the ditch and lands on the pavement and just whack. You just hear that ball like anything hit the pavement and goes over Mrs. Irwin's yard. And Jeffy had to go get it, and his dad said, watch me put this one right into the ditch. And I said, wouldn't that be funny if you put it just about in the ditch and Jeff jumped back for it and he fell into the ditch. And just at that moment he hit it and it went right on the edge of the ditch, and Jeff jumped back and fell right into the ditch with the ball, and he didn't catch the ball, but he didn't get hurt either. And I ran down there laughing, and Jeff must have got mad at me because I was laughing, because he gets mad at me and he says, I bet you wouldn't even have tried. At least I tried. He got kind of mad at me. He says, if that was the fence of a home run line, I bet you wouldn't even jump up and try to get it. And I was still laughing hard, and I ran back up there, and it was just like a tree falling down when Jeff went down. He jumped up in the air, and both hands were just like a Y going up. He just came down and smashed right into that ditch. That was kind of funny. And then Chucky hit one across onto the pavement again, and then Jeff got out his mini bike, and everybody went over to the trails to watch him and Bradley ride it, and they were riding around, and they saw some rabbits and stuff, and they tried to run over the rabbits. The bulldozer was working down there before in that loose dirt, and anyway, Jeff went down into the loose dirt with his mini bike, and he was really spinning around, and he sees a rabbit go up into the weeds, and he goes through into the weeds, and he says, watch out for that rabbit coming out, and he beeps his horn a little bit, and the rabbit comes racing out of there and goes up one side of the hill and goes straight down the other, and Jeff goes up there. He sees the rabbit, and the rabbit goes through the grass, and he cuts onto the trail, and so Jeff, he just burns down the old trail trying to get that rabbit. But the rabbit hid in the grass, and Jeff couldn't find him. And then he was riding around some more, and Larry Herfel, that place up there by where he keeps those horses and stuff, where he always cleans out his semi-truck, he had a bulldozer push that up so he could park his trucks down in there. And Jeff says, if that ever gets hard and if there's ever a trail through there, the other motorcycle's going, I'm going to go up it, because it goes down into the ground a little ways, about 3 or 4 feet, and then where the bulldozer stopped all the time, then that would be the hill where he'd go over. And he says, if that gets hard, I'm going to go over it. And then there's a path through this cornfield that goes down to the sewer place. Not clear down to the sewer, but anyhow, Rodney and Stuart Nixky, they were going through that. And Jeff and me went down through there. And I was on my mini bike, and Jeff was on his, and we went down there a couple times. They were burning that pile of stuff at the dump, and the corn was getting high, and it was a little high, and Jeff didn't want to go down there, and I was on the back, and anyway, we turned around, and he got stuck in a rut, and the smoke was going right into our eyes all that time. And Jeff, he couldn't find the gear shift to shift it into first so he could get out of there, and we got smoke in our eyes and everything, and when we went down through the dump road, there was a trail clear around there. There's one that goes up that one trail, that straight one, from that hill, then it goes up and goes past that telephone building, then there's that ramp there, and it goes along those bends, not on that one road, but on the other side of the bends. It goes along there, and then it comes out on the road, kind of by Loftus's, but not real close to there, more like that great big tin shed. And it goes along there on the dump road and goes down by those two propane things, and then it goes down along that other road that goes into the cornfield, and then it goes up around by that hill again. And we went down by that propane thing, and we stopped there to rub our eyes and get the smoke out of them. And then we went around, and it was pretty fun. We stayed out till almost 9:30, and then that's when Jane came. And then we came in there to watch movies, and Mom said that we should go and see Jane and stuff. So we went in there, and I went over to Custer's and got Danny, and him and Bradley and Norm were talking, and Norm was drinking a beer, and so Danny, he came home, and we got a great big box that we keep all of our baseball equipment in, and that was under the apple tree, and Kathy had come along with me, and I went underneath the tree, and I saw a rabbit, and it was out in the middle of the lawn, kind of by your trailer, and I said, "Hey, Taffy, look at that." And Taffy, she just looks at me instead of looking at the rabbit. And then I scared a little bit, and thinking Taffy might see it move, but she didn't, and the rabbit got out of there. And then Kathy wanted some ice, and so I went over there with the ice, and when I came back, there was a rabbit right in our front lawn, probably eating our clover, because we have a lot of clover in our front lawn. And I run as fast as I can, and I was only about 3 or 4 feet away from it, and it takes off like anything towards the other lot, and I didn't even try to go after it. Must have been going 50 miles per hour where that thing was going. Almost tore up the grass when it left. And, well, that's about all I can say. I don't know what I'm getting for my birthday, but I think I'm probably going to I was going to get a sleeping bag, but I don't know, because I won't need that until next year. And so I probably won't get that till next year. I'd kind of like to have a Viking or Twins baseball trash can for down in my room, and then go to a Twins ball game. And we're going to go to that sometime this year or next year. And then I don't know what I'd want otherwise. That's about the only thing. Oh yeah, and then maybe a Vikings bobblehead, or maybe some multi-purpose shoes. But that's about the only thing I'd want, because I got mostly everything else. And you don't have to worry about me being a catcher, because I'm not going to be a catcher too much, because if I do catch, I'm going to stay back a little ways, because I don't want to get hit by one of those ticks or anything. Anyhow, then I'd have a better advantage of going after foul balls that go up. So, I don't know. We're getting a pretty good baseball team. I can't tell you too much more. That I've been just staying in the house and reading books and watching the baseball scores and everything. But that's about the only thing I've been doing. Every morning I try to watch The Joker's Wild on TV, and then I read the standings. And the Twins, they aren't doing so bad. They're only third place. They were second place. 3 or 4 times they were second place for a while. And now they dropped down to third. I'd used up the whole tape and the red light came on and everything, but I didn't know it. And I was sitting in the other chair, and anyhow, I was sitting in the other chair, and I'd come over here to see how much tape I have left, and I was all done, and the red light was on. I just got finished talking about the twins. Now I don't know where to start. After the twins, I guess I don't know where to start now. I'll just start all over new because Mom got an orange and she's eating that for lunch. She's watching their stories, and Danny's gonna have a sack lunch with Taffy. And I'm just gonna have maybe an egg or something. I don't know what I'll have. Or I might have some popcorn or something, so. I might have some meat and potatoes, but I don't know. And Danny says now that he's going to eat an egg in a hole. He wants me to fix him one. And I guess I'll probably have to go do that now. But the only thing I can't do with that is crack the egg right. So I guess I might do that good this time. Might get lucky. And anyhow, I don't have too much to say. I'm getting hungry, and you can't talk on an empty stomach. So Heinz should be getting home anytime now. Pretty soon, anyhow. They should be home unless they stayed for a picnic lunch. I'll let Mom talk after her stories, and Danny's got all the stuffed animals up here, and he's been playing with them, and he's got this little wooden high chair, and it's real cute, and if I was him, I'd even bring up the other high chair, but I don't know. I'll have to go fix him his egg. He's walking around in circles, like a stubborn guy would. Well, bye. I'll let Mom talk to you. If I don't get to talk to you anymore, well, I just won't, because Mom, she can talk pretty good, and Dad will have to talk a little bit. So this will probably be the last time. Talk to you on a tape from here to there. So bye.
Hi, and this is sometime later. It's about 3:30 now, and I just came in for a glass of iced tea. I've been busy downstairs. I went down and stained some of the mop board, and I varnished some of the trim board, or the cove. And then I went ahead and varnished the door that goes down into the basement. It needed to be sanded a little bit and varnished the second time. And I don't know, I just varnished until I ran out of varnish with that one can, and then I did some more with another one, and I was going to restain the mop board that I had stained earlier this morning, but I don't think it's quite dry yet, so I'll have to wait a while yet on that. So I cleaned up my brush, and I took a load of dark clothes down and put that in the washer, and I washed off the air conditioner unit outside because it had been splattered with mud, and I gave it a couple of coats of paste wax. I don't know if that will help protect the covering or not, but the air conditioner guy said that would help if we would wax it a couple of times a year. That would help keep the finish on it real nice, so it's worth all those little extra things, I guess. And I just came in, and I think I better do the dishes up because there's a mess around here. I don't know what all the kids told you on the tape, but they probably told you I didn't fix them any lunch today. I said they've been messing around all morning and they could just get around and get themselves something to eat. So I guess Phil fixed 2 scrambled eggs for himself and a couple slices of toast, and Danny had an egg in the hole, and they had Cokes with it, and they had quite a diet this noon. But they had 2 dishes of cereal this morning and milk and juice, so I guess they aren't going to starve to death. And we'll have our big meal tonight anyway, so they're just laying around all day. The Custer and Heinz kids go to the Mobile Sand Pit for swimming lessons, and I think it's Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And so a lot of times they just stay over there. Carol and Annette go over, and then they just take a lunch and stay over there the rest of the day, so they haven't been around too much today. And Norm Custer is on vacation for 3 weeks now. The Sioux Tools just closes their plant, and all their employees have to take vacation. So he's been working around on his garage, and I think he's going to maybe add a lean-to or something on the back of his garage. I don't know. I thought Annette said that he was going to do that. And they also plan to go to Omaha for 3 or 4 days and get a motel and enjoy the swimming pool and go to the zoo and stuff down there. So they'll have some fun while they're on vacation. I said, poor Phil, we got that card Saturday saying that they don't ever write. And he came down, he says, Mom, I can't write, but I sure did a lot of talking. I filled up one whole side of this tape. He said, I didn't even realize I talked that long, so you can't say that he didn't do his part now in writing, because he's just really handicapped. He's getting a little bit better with it, though. He can tie his shoes. I was tying his shoes and zipping his pants, and last night I did give him a bath because he isn't supposed to get that cast wet at all, and it's starting to itch him, and so I take Q-tips with alcohol or peroxide and kind of shove them up in there in the palm of his hand and try and rub around in there because it's really starting to bother him. And we go back to the doctor now tomorrow afternoon at 2:30, and I don't know, we just probably look at it and see if it looks like it's all right. And I have to get a wedding gift too tomorrow, and I go to town, and so we're going to go in about noon and do that. It won't take us very long, and then we plan on going to the wedding tomorrow night. So, and it's at 7 o'clock, so Har's going to have to rush around again to go, but it's just over at Mobile, so it won't be so far to go. Yesterday, Jane called about 10 after 11 and asked if we would like to come out and have lunch with her. She had fried a chicken, and she thought it'd be nice if the boys and I came out for lunch. Well, I said we could, but that I had a drapery man coming. That guy from Orange City had called me around 9:30 in the morning and said that if I was going to be home today or yesterday, he'd come down in the afternoon. And so I said I was, because I had no plans at all. And then when Jane called and wanted us out for lunch, I told her I probably should try and be back by 1, because he said right after lunch. She said, well, that was all right. So we went out at 11:30 already, and we had a real nice lunch, and she was real happy that we came out. And then she got an insurance salesman, or, yeah, I guess that's what it was. Right, we were just about through eating lunch, and he came, and she had to go in the other room and talk to him, so that shortened our time a little bit. And I took the pictures out that we got our pictures back from our trip, and I took the candid shots out, and she looked at them, and she thought Burdette looked just like his dad, and she was kind of worried about him, I think, and he's been sick. He didn't even get to go to Massachusetts. He called, and the 22nd and said he was out, but she didn't get out of the service and that he was going to go to Massachusetts. But then I guess he called her then later that week, and he had been sick and he hadn't gone, so I think she was a little bit concerned. And then I guess Bill's called him Sunday night, and he still didn't think he felt too good, and he didn't think he wanted to be on the road alone, and Joe Pete couldn't come, so it didn't sound like he was going to even try and come for the wedding now, unless he would end up getting on a plane and flying in. But Jane said she just didn't really look for him. And she had tried 2 nights, or I guess she tried Tuesday night to get him, and he didn't answer, so now she doesn't know if maybe he went on to Massachusetts or just where he is. But I think she worries a lot about him, and he isn't in the best of health, so I can see where she would worry about him. Anyway, we stayed out there until 1 and had a nice visit, and then I told her she felt like it. She should drive down that night and she could see our movies. And so then the kids and I came back home, and the drapery man was here waiting for us, and he gave me some suggestions and some ideas and brought some sample fabrics down, and what he suggested is very, very pretty, but the price was just terrible, so I think I'm going to have to look around, because I don't think I want to put that kind of money up there. But if after I look around and get the other estimates, maybe it won't seem so online, but it really threw me, so I don't know, it seems like you go without drapes for so long, and you think you willing to go ahead and spend a little money for them so you can have something nice, and then they come up with a price that's a lot more than what you planned on. So I said I think I better have somebody else come in and estimate it. Of course, the fabric and stuff that he quoted and the one I liked, it was real expensive, so I guess that's why it all adds up. And he was just getting ready to go, and then Shirley McNaughton stopped. She wanted her hair, the ends of her hair trimmed. And so I did that quick, and then I just set my ironing board up, and I told her if she wanted to visit with me while I ironed, that was up to her, but I just felt that I had to do that because I didn't get anything done yesterday, it seemed like, except my ironing and some of my mending done. And then the kids were invited over to Chuck and Carol's last night for a picnic, and so they weren't here for supper, and so I just fixed Har and I something to eat, and we sat and talked, and I read the letters. We got all 3 of your letters yesterday, and I read the letters to Har, and we were sitting here visiting, and just got up to start the dishes. It was about 20 after 7, I guess, because it got late. And here came Jane came then, and it was so light then, we didn't want to show the movies then, so then we just sat here and visited for a while and looked at the pictures again, and then she wanted to hear the tape from you guys, so we played that tape that you had sent earlier, and then we went in and watched the movies, and then we showed the one from your trip to California in '66, and I think she really enjoyed that too. And the day before, I had so much company too, it seemed like Mrs. Burgett, the school nurse, she stopped in to see me, and she stayed for lunch, and Alpha had stopped over that morning. And then right after lunch, Louise Wheeler came and returned some of my patterns that she had borrowed, and so that day was kind of shot. It seems like about all I get done is just straightening up the house and making the beds and washing and ironing. And today was the first day I really got in gear and did anything extra. And it gets so depressing because I've got all my cupboards to clean yet, my closets. I'm not getting anything done. I never put in such a summer. I'm going to have to get a spurt of energy pretty soon and get some of that done, I guess. It's really been hot, and you just don't care to be outside at all. And I had intended to pick the peas and beans last night, but then Jane came, so I didn't get out there to do it. So this morning Alpha said she'd come over, and so we picked the peas, and there wasn't much left on them, but I think I got enough for a meal. So we just pulled the vines up, and it just no need to bother with them anymore. And it was getting so weedy in there, I didn't get out to hoe after this last rain, and boy, it really takes over in a hurry. And then we picked the beans, and I didn't have very many beans on, so I hope they do more yet. But I think it's just been so steaming hot that some of the little beans, you'd pick them, and they were just dry inside. They were just kind of flat. And we got 2 inches of rain, so really we got enough rain, but maybe we didn't get it soon enough or something. I probably should have been watering the garden. We did water 2 nights, but I probably didn't water soon enough or at the right time. And I've been having a few turnips now and then. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of turnips yet when you get home, and I've been giving Alpha a few now and then, and I thinned them out because they were so thick, and the carrots look good, and the tomatoes are really looking good, and the lettuce has gone to seed, so tonight I'm going to try and go out to the garden and work for a while and pull all that stuff out and let it dry up so we can burn it. Merlin Harrison has those cats down here on this other side of your 2 lots now, down in there, and they're moving dirt all over, and knocked all those tall weeds down and smoothing that all out over in there. So I don't know what his purpose is for doing it, but at least it did get rid of those tall weeds. He's really spending a lot of money, and then he cut that bank down along the highway. He cut that down and sloped it up quite a bit, so we can't see the traffic, but if he would have taken it down just a little bit more, I think we almost could have seen the traffic on Highway 20. And I'm glad that we can, because that'd be awful noisy, and I just assume that we have a little privacy, so. And let's see what else has been happening. It's been a busy week again. It seemed like Kathy and Bill bought Sesker's dinette set, and they were loading the moving van was loading their furniture Monday and Tuesday, and so Har had to go up. Har and Bill went up Monday night and got that with the pickup. And then Tuesday night, Bill wanted to go out to Hoker's. They had an old refrigerator that they didn't want, and they wanted to get it out of their basement, and Bill and Kathy kind of thought they'd like to have it down there. So then Har and Kathy and Bill went out there. And then when they came back, we all went over and had watermelon and visited for a while. So otherwise, we haven't really been going anywhere or doing too much. I think we might go up to Kingsley Saturday and get our meat. I've got the freezer pretty well cleaned out now, so. And I suppose if we got any left over, we might stick some over in your icebox till we get some used up so we have room in ours again. I shouldn't sit here too long. I'm going to try and get this wrapped up and get it up to the mailbox before 5 o'clock, and Har won't get a chance to talk on it, but if I wait and mail it tomorrow, then maybe you won't get it, so. And he's always so tired, I don't know if he'd, he's kind of disgusted anyhow. It seems like that he always thinks that kids and I have already told you everything, so there's nothing for him to tell, but he was going to start working on bridges today, I guess, and he wasn't looking forward to that. It's been so hot, he really comes home tired. And he usually goes in and takes a bath and cleans up and sits down a while. He just didn't wait for a while to have supper, so I haven't been having supper until about 6:30. And then he usually goes in and reads the paper after supper when he isn't busy doing something else. And I didn't tell you either. I didn't hear too much about the wedding, and I didn't seem like Jane and I got around to talking too much about it either, but I guess Margie Maud made the bridesmaids' dresses and the flowers, and Janet McNaughton has the cake, and I guess Shelley bought her wedding gown. But they had been working on this small house up in Morningside, painting it and cleaning it all up and putting some new tile in and everything, and I guess Mike was called in and asked or I guess he was offered a promotion to a managership job, and it was down at Des Moines, and I guess he accepted it, so they had to get out of this situation in Sioux City. I guess he's been living there, and so I don't know how they'll come out on that, whether they'll get some refund back. I guess the lady who owned the house was furnishing all the all the supplies and paint and everything, but they were doing it. I mean, it was their labor, so how they'll work that out or not, I guess they had a lot of their stuff and everything moved in there and curtains up, and so then they went down to Des Moines and they got an apartment in Ankeny, which is just a suburb of Des Moines, and it was a nice apartment, air conditioned and wall-to-wall carpeting and refrigerator and stove and everything in the kitchen. And so yesterday Bill put a topper on his pickup and rented a U-Haul, and they packed their brand new bedroom set that they got from Bill and Millie for a wedding gift. I guess it's really a beautiful set in that U-Haul. And then Shelley had gotten a cedar chest for graduation, and then Jane had given her that hide-a-bed out of her living room. And I guess Mike had a couple of chairs or something, and then I don't know who gave him a chrome dinette set, if that was Bill and Millie or if it was Mike's folks, but anyhow, they had quite a bit of furniture. And then she's had 4 showers, I guess, and then their clothes and everything, so they packed all that in the pickup and in the back of the pickup and in the U-Haul and in their car. And I guess Mike's on vacation for 2 weeks. He took his vacation now. And they all, I guess Bill and Dee Dee and Shelley and Mike, and they went to Des Moines yesterday to get all that stuff down there. And then today, of course, they got to do some last minute things for the wedding, I guess. And so, anyway, I think Jane kind of hate to see her go way down there, but maybe it's the best thing for her too. She'll have to grow up a little bit. And somebody made the remark, and I don't know who that was, that she was no more ready to get married than, and she's just a kid, and she never has really done too much, I don't think, so she doesn't really know what it's all about. So she probably will have it pretty rough trying to wash and cook and keep house and sit around the apartment all day and probably get bored if she doesn't get out and find herself some kind of a job, because he's going to be working all the time, and if he's got a managership position, I'm sure he's going to be putting in some long hours and have to have his clothes looking nice and everything. So, but then that's their problem, I guess. So, and well, I guess I can't think. Oh, I want to tell you that I paid your telephone bill and I paid your insurance now, and I still have one check left, and I think that was intended for the IPS bill. And of course we haven't gotten them yet, so, and you possibly will even be home by then, by the time that has to be paid, so. I'm going to shut off for now, and Danny's going to do a little bit of talking, and maybe you could take this tape along down with you to Jim and Linda's and let them hear it too. There isn't too much on it, I don't think, but we want to say hi to them, and I think I did write them one letter. Can't even remember if I did or not, but I should write. I'll probably write now in a couple of days again, so I'll send it down to Jim's and the next letter. So goodbye for now. Hope everybody is fine. It seems like you've been gone a long time, and I know you'll be anxious to get back home too, so we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Well, hi, Jim and Linda, Bronco and Chelsea. Kathy, she's growing. She's a nice little cocker spaniel, cocker spaniel, half poodle. And I wonder if Bronco is barking like he was when we went to your house. Well, Kathy, she's been catching birds. She's just been doing nothing. And barking, biting me, and everything. I don't know what you can catch down at your place. We went up to Spirit Lake. I caught more than 100 fish in a day. And just one little lake has full of fish. It seems that we never go to Pauline anymore. I guess it might be fished out. You know? Graham Segerman said there wasn't good fish in there. Well, I better let Phil talk. I'm going to take swimming lessons over at South Sioux for 2 weeks. Starting next Monday, too. And well, I've been keeping the garage clean and doing a lot of extra hard work since Phil had his finger hurt. Phil has wrote names on his cast more than anybody, I bet. We went fishing to a farm pond. We caught one bass. Phil caught the bass. I think it was Willard's Pond. Oh, do you like your house there? When are you going to come back here and live? I hope it's pretty soon. I'd say about 2 years. What's Miranda doing? You should probably get a job. Are you still working for the police, Jim? Did you get hurt any time? No? How's Bronco and Chelsea? What color is your house, too? Is your house close to the ocean? Can Bronco and Chauncey swim? Can you guys swim, too? Well, I'm gonna let Phil talk now. I'll see ya. And come over here sometime so you can see Cat. And be sure to bring Bronco and Chauncey. Happy's gonna love them.
I better get this wrapped up now and get it in the mail. Phil is watching TV, so he doesn't want to tape anymore today. And if we don't get it up to the post office pretty soon, it won't go out. So long for now. Hope everyone is well. Take care. And I'll write in a few days again. Goodbye.
And I know she wanted Dad to leave her there because, you know, he wouldn't get done, she wouldn't get done picking until he wanted to go. I don't think he liked it very well when we stopped and picked 4 quart of berries the other morning. Then I don't know if I told you or not, but the other night then Mother and I went home and she put a permanent in my hair. When we were beat that night, and she said she didn't sleep very well because she was afraid what she rolled up maybe wouldn't come out just right, and I don't know what she worried about that for because anybody could roll it better than you could roll it yourself. And it seems like it maybe might be a little bit dry on the ends, but it could use a little bit of cutting. I cut the top part of it before they got here, and I think that's what I did. I cut all, whatever little bit of permanent I had left, I cut it off then, and that's why it wouldn't stay up. But anyway, it's curled now and it's staying up. Yesterday I didn't have to repin anything. It just stayed right there. So then last night we locked up, and they have an auction barn here, and it is open every Thursday night. So we drove out there, went in, looked around, and listened to some of the things sell for a while, but the wind was just like it was coming off of an ice bank. And they closed the barn doors too, but it just seemed like people, I think, coming in and out just left them open once in a while. And it was such a draft in there, and I thought, well, we better not just stay out there too long because Dad takes cold so easy that I didn't want to take any chance on getting him sick while he's here because it's damp and chilly one day and sunshiny and hot the next. Jan, in your letter you said that we didn't call till like Thursday morning. Well, the folks got in at 5 o'clock Wednesday night. Their train was late, and by the time we got down and picked up some groceries, and then we came to Woodland, and then I had to close up, and we didn't get home till 9 or so. And we tried a couple times, but that was the night you guys went to the dance or something, and we couldn't get you. And so that's why we waited till morning. I see that my tape is getting low, and I suppose I better close now. And I don't know, the folks haven't said one word about when they're planning on going or anything, but I do think that they are going to go and stay here until they get within a week of when they want to go home, and probably a little bit less because Mom said only about 4 days with Jim. They plan to stay like maybe Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, and then they'd leave up.